Hello and welcome to another episode of Supercoach Insider. My name is Chris, and welcome to the another part 4 of the Road to Round 1 series for me. Anyway, I'm trying to get on to the other guys to pick up the slack a little bit. Swizz still hasn't released his Road to Round 1 team yet, and Ben's apparently waiting till February for some reason to release his part 2. No idea why, but whatever. I'm here and I'm pumping out the content for you guys, so you're welcome. Look, I thought this is the team that I've actually had for like a week and a bit now, I'd say. And it has changed slightly. Like even today, I made a couple more minor changes, but it's changed dramatically since my last team. And I love it. This is definitely one that I'd love to be able to start, and I've got plenty of reasons to do so, but like there is a lot of risk with starting this style of team. And yeah, we'll just see how we go. But I'm thinking now, I mean, the new information about, we've now got 36 trades. We've got still got all those trade boosts. Like, I'm very much looking at this going, why wouldn't I? So, yeah, a few things. I suppose we'll start in with the first pick, which is no longer very obvious. So for the first time, I don't have Tom Stewart in my team, and I've actually gone just straight to the value town. So looking to save a little bit right off the bat with the defense, and I'm actually starting with D1 as Harry Himmelberg. So something a little bit left field, and there are reasons for this, obviously. So basically what I'm looking at is kind of shorting those defenders and then upgrading to them because there is so much value in defense. Now, Harry Himmelberg is back on my radar after my first team that I put out, which I said, look, if he's playing in defense, I'm locking him down. But if he's playing forward, I'm not touching him. So there's been 2 articles in the last week. Everyone's putting pressure on GWS's media teams. There's been some great tweets out there basically saying, where is Harry playing so that we can select him in our Supercoach team. And they basically came out and said that they want to start Cadman forward. And if they do, Himmelberg will be playing behind the ball. If not, he'll be playing in front. But they say all green lights so far for Cadman, and they do believe he'll play round 1. So, yeah, that's a green light for me for Himmelberg. And in my opinion, if that is the case and Himmelberg lines up behind the ball round 1, you can't not have him. He'll be 110 plus averaging defender, arguably in contention for number 1 for at least $100,000 cheaper than all the other guys. So he's a value option in defence, and one that you can safely say, yep, if he's playing defence, he's going to be an absolute lock to go top 6. So you can't go past that value. Also, similarly, he's a forward. So he's definitely going to be a top 6 forward, maybe even a top 4 forward in that sort of realm. And you can pick him up, again, underpriced and probably for the same amount. The thing is, with the forwards, though, you've got a lot of value around the same price. So the reason why I'm starting him as a defender is because he's $100,000 cheaper than the other guys, whereas you get similar value for around about the same price. Guys like Taranto, guys like Rosie, etc. Similar value for the same price. Butters, there's quite a few options at the 500k market in the forward line. So moving to number 2, and it just goes bang. So I've jumped on the Yo train, and look, I didn't want to. I was hesitant for it, but you just got to concede at some point that he does have the scoring history. Yes, his body has been a massive issue, but because he's also very highly owned, and I just want to quickly just double check these stats for his ownership. Let's have a look here. Oh, why can't I find it in this normal page? That mustn't load until later. There is an ownership page. I'll have a look at it later, but he's very highly owned as a mid-pricer. And for that reason, if he does fire and goes big, then you're going to be really caught in the dark if you don't have him. So I'm definitely leaning more towards having him than not having him for that exact reason. So yeah, Elliot Yeo at the moment, he's in my team, and he's just based on price, he's moved into D2. And I know we're just thinking it's very shallow, but it actually is. I don't think it is. And part of that reason is the next guy as well. So there's been now a few articles on Hunter Clark and his inevitable move to midfield, priced at 315k. If he's playing midfield, he will definitely average somewhere between 85 to 100, maybe even a little bit more. And I'm of the opinion that he's a great player at that position. So Lenny Hayes was the one that came out as the midfield coach and said, look, they've had chats about how they want to play him this year, blah, blah. He's training with the midfield group. He hasn't been spotted doing training with the defensive team as well. So only training with midfield, only playing midfield. He's going to get that nod, and that positional change should reap a lot of rewards come scoring time. And I'm expecting him to absolutely blow up. So not one that I think will be a keeper, but a great stepping stone and still a very cheap price at 315k. One that's easily going to make between 100 to 150k very quickly. So a lot of people will have him as well, but I think the ownership is less on him compared to Yo. But I'm also going with the third mid-pricer in this series, which is Jack Bowes. So we finally got some information on Jack Bowes in that he has been training with the midfield group. He has also been training behind the ball and on the wing as well, just to add multiple flexibility to his game. And essentially at Geelong, everybody plays multiple positions. No one plays just one hardcore position. It's almost impossible. Even the ruckman, one plays centre half back and then they rotate. So that was always going to happen. But his main training partners are Guthrie, Blitzavs, and Danger out of the midfield. So, yeah, I'm taking that as he's playing midfield. He'll likely be, I think he's definitely best 22. So it's whether or not he's playing majority minutes in there or if it's a 50-50 split or what that is. We'll get a little bit more information later. But again, he's still in 277k. So regardless, what is he minimum average? 70? Maximum average 90 plus? Yeah, so definitely one of value, definitely one that I want to have. Now, I suppose that the danger here when going for all three of these guys is that, let's say Yo doesn't fire. What's my next option? Well, in my opinion, my next option is to go down further. I'll probably go down or potentially go up with cash from another player, etc. So I'm actually not too concerned about that, though that is a something to look out for. Now, from here, obviously, we go into the rookies. So Jinby is absolutely killing it. I think he actually does definitely play round one. Massive raps from Adam Simpson the other day. He said that he's in the top 3 or 4 for sprints, but he's also in the top 3 or 4 for endurance, and he's 190 centimeters with a solid body. Yeah, and he said, look, I don't want to put any pressure on him, but yeah, we think he can play real early for us. Yeah, he's going to play round one. And the other one's obviously still Weddle. I definitely think that Weddle plays round one also. So those two, I think, are almost locks for the back line. So the guys I don't have right now are guys like Goda. So if Goda turns out to be an absolute must-have, then I can go, Yo to Goda or Hunter Clark to Goda or something like that. Free up some money and then put that money elsewhere. So there is options to go down. Chesser, not sure if he plays round one, but he will play early. I've still got him in here just on the pine as a bit of a placeholder. And Wagner as well. Those two, again, I think they definitely played this year, but whether or not that's round one is still up in the air. Whereas the guys on field at the moment, they're playing round one as far as I'm concerned at this early stage. All right, now moving into the midfield, still hasn't moved at all. Clayton Oliver, M1, I don't think you can get away from that. He's now 50% owned, which is just insane. So, yeah, I mean, if you don't start him, the huge risk is, especially if he goes big early, you're going to be real far behind. It's a long way to catch up if people are captaining Oliver and he's going 140, 150 plus early and you don't have a captain to match that. So, yeah, Oliver is in my team 100%. On the gins today. And, of course, Bont comes in for my M2. Again, those two guys literally haven't changed my entire preseason. So has M3. I suppose the position has, but Tom Green comes in at my M3. And Titch is still in my team as well. So those are sort of my big 4 premiums. And I suppose you can say there's a big 2 and then 2 underpriced premiums. I wouldn't call them mid-prices. I saw some tweets the other day saying that these guys are mid-priced. They're not mid-priced. They're premium-priced. Mid-price is like 500k and under for a midfielder. Like Cripps last year was 450k, and I'd consider that a mid-pricer. But 530k for a premium mid is not a mid-pricer. That's a underpriced premium. That's someone who you're picking not to make money. You're picking them for your whole year. So yeah, that's what I'm picking with those two guys. And I had a little bit more look. Every time I look at Mitchell's stats, I'm like, man, how do I just not start with this guy? So he went 9-6 last year with only 53% CBAs. But he actually increased his clearance rating last year compared to the previous year. So it went 5.0 as opposed to 4.8 clearances per game. But he had 21% less clearances. So he's actually in better form clearance-wise last year than he was in the 2 years prior. That's insane. Now, to put that into perspective, in his Brownlow year, which was 2018, he averaged 8 clearances per game. So he could potentially get, I'm not saying all the way there, but you add 30% CBAs, I think he'll probably be an 75 to 80% CBA midfielder. He could get all the way up to somewhere between 7 to 8 clearances per game. And that's where the Magpies struggle. So there's a lot of points to be made out of those clearances. So yeah, I'm 100% in on Titch. I still don't think he's going to be like a 120 midfielder, but I think he's that at that price he gets me up to somewhere between 110 to 115 comfortably without flexing too much. So not bad. So moving on to, so I suppose this is where it starts to decline a little bit. I've got Hopper still. Still no reason to suggest that he's not going to be an amazing pick. Everything on the preseason report, he's absolutely flying at training. He hasn't missed a beat. Nothing to write home about there. And the one that's obviously come with a flyer is Dom Sheed. So I'm still on Dom Sheed. So I've actually got, the two bigs, two big mids, the two underpriced mids, and then the two mid-priced mids. So these guys are, I'm not expecting to hold Sheed and Hopper for the season. I'm expecting to trade them. So they're going to be going up to, your Mills or something like that. That's what I'm going to be doing there. And then, of course, the rookies from here. So Ashcroft, Match Sim, absolutely impressive again. And everything that I keep hearing now is just more of affirmations about how good he's going to be and how good his role is going to be. So definitely still going there. Phillips, I'm still going there as well. And then, of course, just to get out the pine. So Johnson still looks like he may get a game round 1. So I'm putting him in there. Just the forward mid-swing. I'm putting Sin in here as well. Obviously going forward with that one. But again, it'll honestly depend on his body and how much training block he's able to get into as to whether or not he starts round 1. But we'll see how that goes. And then it's Baker. So Baker actually very much impressed in the match sim playing on the wing. Now there is an available wing role there. I just thought, yes, I can see him potentially taking it, but they've also already got guys like Bailey Smith and Adam Treloar. Adam Treloar was playing halfback last year. Does he want to be moved up to a wing? Like what's really going to happen there? So I've got him in there at the moment, but I don't trust Bevo enough to really be firm on that. But we'll see how we go. I mean, he's at M11, so what could go wrong, right? So there's my midfield, and then go to the forward line. So this is where it starts to get a bit interesting. You're like, well, it's a bit light on, mate, at the moment. And, Rucks. And so Rucks, Marshall keeps kicking goals left, right, and centre. So I think we've all been constantly sort of on edge with, okay, well, is Marshall going to play forward because King went down? Well, now also Jack Hayes has gone down. Tom Campbell's had an injury, and Matt Allison's now out for like 12 to 16 weeks. So all of their tools are down, and there's still media coming out from the club saying that Rowan Marshall's the number 1 ruck, and he's going to be playing pure ruck minutes and blah, blah. So I think we have to take that at face value at this point and go, look, Marshall's probably playing number 1 ruck. And if he isn't, then we can reevaluate later. But at this stage, it's Marshall. So you can't not, if he's going to be 80% ruck, you can't not have him. And again, pre-season training reports, Tim English is absolutely killing it. Darcy Cameron's obviously the one that I had mentioned in the ruck pod, that's the one that I wanted to have there. But now with Marshall coming in, basically owning that ruck line, I'm scared of English. I'm really scared of not having him. His ownership percentage for Tim English is 31%. He's one that I think can really burn you real early. And I'm worried that if I don't have him, he's going to run and be 650k all of a sudden, and I'm going to regret not having him. So yeah, one that I'm looking to those two are what I'm looking at, sort of almost setting and forgetting. But we'll see how we go. Um, anyway, so yeah, those I'm still not really sold on that. I did like the whole Darcy Cameron at the 2, but we'll see how we go. Now the forwards again, some of them just honestly, I don't have to think about Dunkley F1, Canelio F2. Now here's where it starts to get tricky. So who do I get? I've just decided to get everybody, guys. So I'm going Rosie. I'm going Taranto. And I know this is weird and people are going to say, oh, you can't do this. I'll tell you why I can. And you know what else? I've got a bit of money there. I'm going to put Darcy Cameron in there as well. And then I'm going to go rookies. So I'm going to chuck in McLean. Now, I know that there's probably where I might be lacking, and this is a valid point. Forward rookies look to be good. Guys like Joe Richards, by the way, been firing up the track at the moment. Steele Sidebottom said a lot about him as a first-year player, coming in and making immediate impact. Again, I still think he might be the 23rd player, but we'll put him there. And also Drury from North does actually look... he's been impressing at training as well, and it's a 102k, so you kind of got to have him. And there's the team. Now, I will explain the forward line. So a lot of people are saying basically, 3 mids is where you're capped. 3 premium forwards is where you're capped. I actually have 6, because there's a potential that I could go Himmelberg up forward and then just continually upgrade the back line. My thing is this. Yes, I understand that there's always going to be a bolter that is unknown, and you might have to jump on him at some point. But I'm pretty confident with these players in terms of their ability to average top 6 numbers. And when I say top 6, I mean 100 plus. Even Cameron, when he was in a stat from Freako came out the other day, said that when he was playing ruck only, he averaged 104 last season. So you've got to be pretty sold on those numbers. As a forward, he only averaged 70. So when he's playing forward, he's obviously not going to hit you that much. Now, I do think that Cox might play there, but it's still not going to matter because I think Cameron is the number 1 ruck. Cox was only playing between 50 and 55% time on ground when he was playing last year. So, yeah, Cameron to me is still a lock, and I can't see him doing that. The big thing is, okay, so the round 6 and round 12 DPPs. Last year, we were absolutely kissed. We had Luke Parker. The reason why Luke Parker was playing forward was because Capley was injured. So Luke Parker went forward to cover that. And then we miraculously got a Luke Parker for peanuts come round 6. Then we had guys like Bailey Smith and Libba. We had Bont, of course. With the removal of Dunkley out of that mid-mix, I don't think there's as much going to be switching for those guys to get that 35% upgrade. And if they don't, then who else is doing it? So my only thoughts are that rucks are going to be the ones you want to have. So someone like a Grundy who gets a forward status because he's playing at the Ds, which I think probably will happen. But Grundy's points have been going down for 2.5 years. And when he plays forward, he doesn't score well. So is he going to be one that I'm going to want anyway? I personally think that Grundy going forward, he might average somewhere between 85 to 100. Is he going to be a must-have? No. So why am I worried about it? I don't think I should really set my structure based on what potentially could happen in round 6. Well, I know that potentially Rosie could average 105 plus. Taranto could average 105 plus. Canelio's already proven that he can average 110 plus. And Dunkley is already going past that. The only real questionable one there is Cameron. Even Himmelberg, I know can go 110 plus. So I kind of have guys that are already going to average those top 6 numbers. So why am I worried about the round 6 DPPs? Is there going to be someone that's going to be like 115, 120 average that I'm going to need to have as a forward? Probably not. So for that reason, I'm comfortable. And I don't know, all the stress that I've been putting on myself to have a right forward structure for this is just, I think, completely overblown. So going heavy in the forward line because that's where the premiums are available at a good price seems to be the way to go. And then obviously in the defense where you've got 5 premiums that are 600k plus, going easy on them, waiting for a couple of drop and then pouncing on them at 550k or less. That seems to be much smarter in terms of cash allocation. And in this team, I've got 12 premiums essentially, and 5 mid prices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually really excited about this team and where I can do. This is where I want to start. Like I want to start this kind of team, and I want people to probably hate on me and then be like, oh, but I could actually jump out and go really well. This structure I love. I love how deep it goes on pretty much every line. Like the only line that it has is shallow is defense really, but I can't see those guys like those rookies. The rookies are really really good. Midfield rookies are really good. Yeah, I'm just everywhere you look, it's just there's no issues as far as I don't know. You tell me. You tell me where I'm wrong. There, structure wise especially. Anyway, thanks to the guys. Update, guys. We'll catch you later.